Time is now 5:09 a.m. here on your Thursday morning. And I mean, man, it is heartbreaking, honestly, to see those pictures, in that video that's coming out of Fort Myers, literally a storm of a century that they have not seen in a number of years there.
Right, and you can just see all the flooding and all the damage already. Now imagine as the storm passes through, we can really get in and see some of that damage.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is hitting real people. And
yes.
I'm thinking, I've got a friend who lives in Fort Myers. He works in TV down there.
Yeah.
And their TV studio, a room just like this one, was flooded. It had water up to about, where that second line is there.
Wow.
So, this is touching everybody down there, all across Florida as we went into the overnight hours and into this morning. We're looking live in Jacksonville, and this is the thing. It's an all of Florida event, most of Florida event, I should say. Everybody getting in on at least the storm action. So now Ian, a tropical storm. This is Jack's Beach. This is turned away from the ocean. The winds, they would be coming actually onshore right now. So here's the latest tropical storm Ian. Winds at 65 miles per hour, pressure at 986. The movement towards the northeast there at about 8 miles per hour. So it's going to begin moving off the coast into the Atlantic here over the next little bit. The clouds we're seeing here in central Georgia, that is the far northern extent of Ian. It was actually really neat. I was driving up 75 yesterday, and there was a very defined line of clouds and then blue sky, and that was it right there. But here's the loop over the past 24 hours. Ian coming ashore, made landfall right near Fort Myers, went over Fort Myers, and then now just to the southeast of Orlando. In fact, a flash flood emergency in effect this morning just to the north of Orlando. But the rain from Jacksonville down through St. Augustine, Daytona, Cape Canaveral now, that's going to move out over the ocean. And when it does so, it's going to be able to pick up a little more steam. Also looking at showers this morning along the Georgia coast, but that's not going to be the concern for them necessarily, the rainfall. I'll show you the storm surge potential here in just a few minutes. First today here in central Georgia, waking up to 50s this morning into the 60s by about the noon hour. Notice the cloud cover hanging around and these arrows coming through. It's going to be a blustery day here across central Georgia as we get into the afternoon hours. There's the evening. Then into tomorrow, notice the rain. It looks like it's going to be over right along the South Carolina state line there. Today, we do have a wind advisory in effect. This is going to be for 20 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds with these gusts 35. So this part of the forecast is on track. We are looking at a very windy day here in central Georgia, and just be glad we don't have tropical storm watches and warnings because you don't have to go far. You obviously still have the hurricane warnings down here, which I assume will be cleared out because the storm has now transitioned into tropical storm. But you get over towards the Savannah River, you're running into tropical storm watches over here. Luckily, we don't have those in central Georgia. We have that wind advisory instead. Here is the track here on Ian, moving closer to Charleston now. So yesterday we were talking about a landfall somewhere potentially near Savannah, Hilton Head. Now that's going to be Charleston and maybe even a little further to the east because each update we get shifts the cone just a little further east. Here's the models. You can see kind of locked in on Charleston as well, but yesterday they were kind of locked in on Savannah. So we're going to have to see how this goes. Regardless, along the Georgia coast, if you have friends and family down there, still looking at potentially 4 to 6 feet of storm surge. St. Simons and Cumberland Island, 2 to 3 feet from Sapelo Island up to Tybee, and then that continues up towards Charleston. That's as of the latest advisory. So we're not completely in the clear just yet. In fact, this looks like a new run of the GFS because the last run of the GFS I saw didn't even have rain here in central Georgia. So potential for rain, that's still in the forecast for tomorrow at 5 p.m. as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, and then clearing out for Saturday. So good news on that front. See how that stacks up on the Euro? Okay, so somewhat similar, but notice the center, the Euro is bringing the center just slightly south of Charleston. So exactly where this makes landfall is going to have implications in terms of the rain for us. It is possible that we get through this event without rain here in central Georgia if it continues shifting to the east, like the trends we've been seeing, again, clearing out by the time we get to Saturday night. Regardless, we're going to see the wind. There we go, Thursday, 10 a.m. So this is this morning, gusts of 30 to 35. Anytime you get this purple color in here, these are 40 mile an hour wind gusts. So that's going to be possible as we get into tomorrow afternoon, and then it begins to pull away. Here's how this stacks up on the European. You see those purples in there as well. This afternoon could see wind gusts potentially up to 40. The advisories for 35, and then again for Friday. The rainfall totals, again, not all concerned about it because it's continuing to shift away. And then as we look at the GFS, again, continuing to shift away. So here's the 7-day and how it stacks up. 73 today and tomorrow. Did drop the rain chances significantly because of that eastward shift, and then into the 70s next week here in central Georgia.